So guys, in the previous class we had started with the limits chapter, and we had seen a basic formula for limit, which is limit as x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a, that is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1, where I had told you that a and n, they both are any constant numbers, and we had also seen some examples based on this. So today let us continue with the further examples of this formula, and then we'll go on with the new type of questions. So let us see some basic or simple questions based on this. First of all, you can see the sum number 2 right there in front of you. Question number 2, it's a very simple sum. You have to find the value of k from this particular question. So let us see what we have to do in this. Limit as x tends to 5, x raised to k minus 5 raised to k divided by x minus 5, and this value is equal to 500, that is what is given to you. So looking at this, it's quite simple to understand that a value is equal to 5 and n value over here is nothing but equal to k. So as I had told you, when you have to apply the formula, you have to write just two simple words saying that we are now applying limit. So when you apply the limit, it's n into a to the power n minus 1. So substitute these values of n and a. So you will get k into 5 to the power k minus 1, and this over here is equal to 500. So it's very simple. I can write this as k into 5 to the power k minus 1 is equal to 5 into 100. Okay. So then what we can do over here is I have to adjust these elements in the terms of power of 5. So how do I do it? Let us understand this. Just leave this k into 5 to the power k minus 1 as it is. This 5, let it be as it is, and 100 can be written as 25 into 4. So I will write this is equal to 5 into 125, which is equal to 4 multiplied by 5 raised to 3, which can also be written as 4 multiplied by 5 to the power 4 minus 1 is equal to k multiplied by 5 to the power k minus 1. So now it's very easy to identify over here that on comparing both sides, you can say that k over here is equal to 4. Okay. So let's do the first sum of this. Question number 2, the first sum, it is like limit as x tends to 7 and cube root of x minus cube root of 7 into cube root of x plus cube root of 7. So this is our given question, divided by x minus 7. So it's very simple guys. If you observe the numerator, it looks something like a minus b into a plus b, and you all know that this is going to be obviously equal to a square minus b square. So when we apply this, you will get limit as x tends to 7, x cube root can be written as x raised to 1 by 3, and square of that, minus 7 raised to 1 by 3 and again square of that, divided by x minus 7. Now you also know the law of indices, which says that a raised to m raised to n can be written as a to the power m into n. So here it will become limit as x tends to 7, x raised to 2 by 3 minus 7 raised to 2 by 3 upon x minus 7. So guys, as I had told you in the last lecture also, whenever we come across this kind of a function, we will always use the formula limit as x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a, which is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1. It is not compulsory to write the formula, but I always have a habit of writing the formula so that I understand in what kind of question, in what kind of circumstances, which formula is getting applicable, so that I don't have to sit and think separately in which question, which formula will be applicable. So it's always a good idea to write the formula besides the question. So when I compare, I can understand that A is 7 and B over here is 2 by 3. So guys, when you apply the formula, you have to write over here, as you all know, applying limit. And so when you apply the limit, you will get this is equal to 2 by 3 multiplied by 7 to the power 2 by 3 minus 1. So ultimately, our value should come out to be equal to 2 by 3, 7 to the power minus 1 by 3. Now guys, we know that if the power is negative, it's always advisable to take that in the denominator. So I will write 1 upon 7 whole to the power 1 upon 3. And guys, it's very easy to understand that power 1 upon 3 is nothing but cube root of 7. So your final answer is 1 upon 3. In fact, not 1, sorry, it is 2. So I will write over here 2 upon 3 into cube root of 7. So that's your required answer. The third question says over here, it is limit as x tends to 0, 1 plus x whole power 8 minus 1 divided by 1 minus x whole power 2 and minus 1. Now it's a slightly different kind of a question, guys, so just understand very carefully what we can do in this particular sum. In this case, we have to consider that yes, in the numerator it is 1 minus x, right? Sorry, I wrote 1 plus x. In this particular sum, we have to apply something called as change of limit. And when you apply change of limit, what does that mean? You have to say, assume that let the bracket element 1 minus x is equal to a new variable y. So if I know that 1 minus x is a new variable y, you can get as x tends to 0, y tends to 1 minus 0, which is 1. So ultimately, I can say that y tends to 1. So in our given question, wherever we are having 1 minus x, in those places, we will be substituting it as y. So this will become limit as y tends to 1 instead of x tends to 0. As I told you, when x tends to 0, I have to use this y tends to 1 because the original question has the variable x, but now because I am doing the substitution that 1 minus x is equal to y, in the substituted part, we will not have the variable x. So it is not advisable to write the limit for x and the function for y. Therefore, if the function is for x, the limit is also for x. If the function is for y, limit is also for the variable y. Therefore, I will write over here y to the power 8 and the remaining element minus 1 will be over there as it is. Denominator is y raised to 2, so I will write y raised to 2. Now it is very simple to identify over here, guys, that if nothing is in the power of 1, obviously you can take the required power which can be adjusted as per our choice. So the numerator and the denominator, they both are representing x raised to n minus a raised to n. The requirement is of x minus a. What is a in this sum? Obviously the a value is 1. So what do? We have to, can you tell me? Dividing numerator and denominator by, yes, y minus 1. So when you divide this by y minus 1, what will you get? Limit as y tends to 1, y raised to 8 minus 1 upon y minus 1 divided by y square minus 1 upon y minus 1. So that becomes your standard function. And here, guys, when you apply the formula, you will say in the numerator a is 1 and n is 8. In the denominator a is again 1, but this time the value of n is 2. So guys, if n value is equal to 2 and you apply the formula, you have to write applying limit. So when you apply limit, you will get over here 8 into 1 to the power 7 divided by 2 into 1 to the power 2 minus 1, which is 1. So now anything raised to 1 is 1 itself, so we don't need to worry about that one element. This gets cancelled off. So guys, our required solution or the answer comes out to be equal to 4. So let us see the next question. It's quite similar one. What we have to do over here is that, again in the same manner as we did the change of limit, here also we have to apply the same method. We have to say let 1 plus x is equal to y. So I will get, as x tends to 0, y will be tending to 1 plus 0, and obviously you can say that y just tends to 1. So now when you write it over here, it will become like this. See, limit y tends to 1, y to the power cube root, which I can write it as 1 by 3, minus, once again for the second element, it is y to the power square root, which is 1 by 2, but the denominator is x. I cannot write x over here because in one function I cannot have two variables x and y together. So therefore, if you write this x, it will be a complete error, a big disaster over there. So in order to avoid that, what I will do over here is, from my substitution, I can say x is definitely equal to y minus 1. So guys, what you can do, in place of x, you can write it as y minus 1. Now guys, please just listen very carefully. You can just take it down later on because this is a completely different example from all of them what we did just now. Looking at the question, you should be able to understand, if your formula is x raised to n minus y raised to n, sorry, not y, it should be a. So x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a, only then I can say that it is n into a to the power n minus 1. Over here, the problem is that the power in both the terms is completely different, as well as this a raised to n element is completely missing in this particular sum. So when a certain element is missing, we don't have to worry about it at all. The best idea is to bring that element as per our choice. So if I want to bring any element as per my choice, maths or rules of maths gives me a complete freedom to add or subtract any number what I need in my solution, multiply or divide whatever value that I need in my particular solution. So let's do that. What do we require? I require a raised to n. What is a over here? It is 1. So if a value is 1, I require two things. 1 to the power 1 by 3 and I also require 1 to the power 1 by 2. Now whatever it is, 1 to the power 1 by 3 is 1, 1 to the power 1 by 2 is also 1. So friends, you just require plus 1 and minus 1. So automatically your elements will get adjusted definitely. So let us see how do we do this. Just understand guys, you copy it down later on. You have to say add and subtract 1 in the numerator. So if you add and subtract 1, you should get it like this. Just observe, okay? Limit as y tends to 1. Y to the power 1 by 3 minus 1 minus y to the power 1 by 2 plus 1. So friends, this is ready-made adjusted as per our choice. For the remaining two terms, I have to take out minus common and denominator is y minus 1 which is over there as it is. So if I take the minus sign common, you will get it like this. Just see, okay? 1 by 3 minus 1 minus y raised to 1 by 2 minus 1. And just separate the denominator for both of them by writing it as y minus 1. So it's completely adjusted as per our choice, as per whatever we require. So now, once again, as we always do, I will write my formula. Limit as x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a. And the answer is n into a to the power n minus 1. For the first term, n is 1 by 3. For the second term, n is 1 by 2. In both the cases, a is fixed, it is 1. So therefore, you just have to write down applying limit. And guys, when you apply limit, you just have to substitute this formula in the answer. So you will get, for the first term, 1 by 3 into 1 raised to 1 by 3 minus 1 plus, in fact, minus 1 by 2 into 1 to the power 1 by 2 minus 1. So now guys, over here we are not worried about 1 raised to 1 by 3 minus 1 and 1 raised to 1 by 2 minus 1, because whatever is in the power of 1, it remains 1 only. So just ignore that and just take the subtraction of 1 by 3 and 1 by 2. So what do you get? You will get 2 minus 3 upon 6, giving us the ultimate value negative 1 by 6. I hope everybody has understood this. So let us see what we have to do in this. You are given a question, limit as y tends to 1, 2y minus 2 divided by cube root of y plus 7 minus 2. Now there is no simplification possible as of now for the denominator, but in the numerator, the only thing that can be done is taking out 2 common. I will get in the bracket y minus 1 divided by cube root of y plus 7 minus 2. Now guys, your formula is like this. X raised to n minus a raised to n divided by x minus a. So the x minus a value should be there in the denominator. So in order to do that, what I will do is, I have to say over here, divide numerator and denominator by y minus 1 first of all. So if you divide that by y minus 1, you will get divided by y minus 1 in the denominator as well as in the numerator. So we don't have to worry about the numerator because this will just get cancelled off directly. But we have to make some adjustments for the denominator values. How do we do this adjustment? Just observe very carefully guys please, and then you can copy down later on. Limit as y tends to 1, and this will become divided by cube root of y plus 7 can be written as y plus 7 to the power 1 by 3. Now I also know that this 2 over here is cube root of 8, so I can write 8 to the power 1 by 3 divided by y minus 1. What is this minus 1? In terms of 7 and 8, I have to do the adjustment. Y tends to 1, 2 upon y plus 7 raised to 1 by 3 minus 8 raised to 1 by 3, because I had the value 2 and this 2 over here is replaced by 8 raised to 1 by 3. Denominator y minus 1 can be written as y plus 7 and minus 8. So because if you take it as plus 7 and minus 8, automatically it will come out to be equal to minus 1, just as we require. So now you can observe that I have adjusted the value y plus 7 in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So as we always do, whatever is the bracket element is substituted as a new variable. So generally we consider the variable x in terms of y. Here it is opposite, so no worries. We will do the same thing. I will just say let y plus 7 is equal to x. So if I know that y plus 7 is equal to x, I can say as y tends to 1, what will be x? 1 plus 7, which is 8. So when you apply the change of limit, you get it like this. Limit as instead of y tends to 1, it will become x tends to 8. Then 2 upon, in place of y plus 7, I will be substituting it as x. So when you do that, it will become x to the power 1 by 3 minus 8 to the power 1 by 3 divided by x minus 8. So now guys, this is as per our required formula. Limit as x tends to a, x raised to n minus a raised to n divided by x minus a, which is n into a to the power n minus 1. What is a? It is 8. What is n? It is 1 by 3. So now guys, when you apply limit, what will we get? It will be 2 will be over there as it is, and it will come 1 upon 3 into 8 to the power 1 by 3 minus 1, which is negative 2 by 3. Because the power is negative, I can take it in the numerator so that the power becomes positive. And this 1 upon 3, if it becomes reciprocal, it gets multiplied with 2. So it will become 2 into 3, that is 6. And 8 to the power positive 2 by 3. So this can be written as 6 into 8 raised to 2 raised to 1 by 3, which is 64, and power 1 by 3 is nothing but cube root of that number. So what is the cube root of 64? It is 4. So my answer comes out to be equal to 24. So the next part that we have is the factorization method now guys. When is the factorization method applicable? That is the first question. So please write down along with me. This method is used when we have question in the form of limit as x tends to a fx upon gx, where fx and gx are polynomials in terms of x. Fx and gx are polynomials. Point number one. Point number two, factorize both fx and gx and cancel the common factor which is x minus a. Always the common factor is x minus a. X minus this number, whatever is this number over here, if you have x tends to 3, then the common factor will be x minus 3. If you have x tends to, then the common factor will be x minus 2. If you have x tends to 5, then the common factor will be x minus 5. So whatever is the value of the limit, whatever value of a, that itself will be our required common factor. X minus that number is always the common factor. So here, because we are writing it in general x tends to a, so I will write the common factor as x minus a. So we will cancel the common factor when function becomes indeterminate. What is the meaning of indeterminate? That is when substitution of limit makes denominator zeros. Don't worry guys, I will explain to you all these steps that I am writing. Just copy it down, whether you are able to follow it or not, no worries about that. You will completely understand everything when we are taking an example based on this. Right now I am just giving you the steps, so no worries about whether you are able to get it or not. Just copy it down as it is. And then point number 3, when you cancel the common factor, apply limit and simplify to get required answer. In this case, apply limit means that substitute value of x as a. So let me take a small example for you guys so that you understand what exactly we are trying to tell in the above steps. Suppose if I come across a question which is like this: limit as x tends to 2, x square minus 5 divided by x. So guys, it's a very easy question. X square minus 5 divided by x. In this case, if I substitute the value as x is equal to 2, or if I substitute the value of 2 in place of x, I will get over here on saying that applying limit, you will get the value as 2 square 4 minus 5 divided by 2, which gives me the value as minus 1 upon 2. So guys, because the value is minus 1 upon 2, this function does not become indeterminate because denominator is 2, which is definitely not equal to 0. Because denominator is a non-zero number, we don't have to do any factorization or anything else in this particular sum. But if I have a question which is like this, example 1, example 2, let me consider a slightly different example. Limit as x tends to 2, x square minus 5x plus 6 divided by x minus 2. And in this case, guys, if you substitute the value of 2 directly, you will get 2 square 4 minus 5 into 2 10 plus 6 divided by 2 minus 2. That will make it as 0 upon 0, and division by 0 is not possible. Therefore, this kind of a function is called as an indeterminate function. When denominator becomes 0, such a function is called as indeterminate function. So guys, when it becomes indeterminate function, we have to factorize fx and gx as per the question. Over here, it is not possible to factorize denominator because it is just a basic function of x minus 2, but you can definitely factorize the numerator. How do I factorize the numerator? I write it like this. Limit as x tends to 2, x square minus 3x minus 2x plus 6 divided by x minus 2. So I'm sure you guys can get it. X tends to 2, taking out this x common, x minus 3. Again taking out the x common, in fact 2 common over here now, minus 2. So again I will get in the bracket x minus 3 divided by x minus 2. Now over here guys, if you observe x tends to 2, I get it as x minus 3 into x minus 2 whole upon x minus 2, and now I can easily cancel off the common factor, which here is x minus 2. Guys, just remember a simple idea. Whenever you come across this kind of a question which is having the polynomials in the numerator and in the denominator, the easiest idea is to always cancel off the common factor. Sometimes you may be given the common factor like I am given over here in the denominator. Sometimes you may not be given, so you will have to factorize both the numerator and the denominator. Because it was the first question of this type, it was an easy one. Probably in some other questions when we are trying to solve, you will come across factorization of numerator and denominator both, but the common factor does not change. Common factor always remains x minus a, whatever is the value of a. I told you in the beginning, again I am telling, if you have limit as x tends to 3, then the common factor will be x minus 3. I will write over here CF, which is representing x minus 3. If you have a question which is x tends to 5, so common factor will be x minus 5. If you have x tends to minus 4, then common factor will be x minus of minus 4, which makes it to x plus 4. So depending on what question you are solving guys, based on that you will be having the corresponding common factor, and with the help of that you can just understand what has to be cancelled off. Now listen guys carefully. After cancelling the common factor, I will write a small reason over here saying that since x tends to 2, x is not equal to 2, and x minus 2 is definitely not equal to 0, because friends, if x minus 2 becomes equal to 0, then the problem is that again it will become an indeterminate function. I don't want an indeterminate function. I want to adjust this function in a possible normal function which is not indeterminate. That's why I have to tell them, sir, this is not indeterminate function because x minus 2 will not be equal to 0. After this, last step guys, apply limit and you are done with the answer. You will get 2 minus 3. Obviously the limit is applied in the remaining elements, as you can observe what I have done over here. So 2 minus 3 comes out to be equal to -1.